shit, what did I do?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are back. This is the Hammer Week where we have Brother Neil Frazier, a.k.a. Metamorphosis, on. And the title is so intriguing, but I understood exactly what he meant when he said it. From mapping out stars to worshiping soulless beings. And if I had to add anything on to that, it would be to be the most disunified, if you could say, ununified or whatever, people on the earth. And it's true. And we were just speaking about another aspect of that, which I know we'll cover in a little while. But this is amazing, that title. We mapped out the stars, we created the pyramids. We can come up with all types of remedies from what was given to us on the earth and heal ourselves, all these different things. And we've been reduced to worshiping soulless beings. So what are we going to become if we worship soulless beings? We have become soulless. We have become spoiled, not completely, but it's like they say, one bad apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch. There's getting to be a whole lot of spoiled apples in our group and who we are. And we just got to pull ourselves out the bag so we don't get that way too. So, brother, I know it's another fabulous presentation. Thank you for coming on in and sharing your research and your time. You're a brilliant man, and you're very unselfish because you're sharing this with us for who can vibe with it. Most of us think it's too corny. No, I don't want to see that. They'll go on to Instagram to look at the anatomy of different young women, and that's it. Your vibration will remain low. But you're showing us love by doing this, and I'll always be the plate that would showcase the meal that you are.
Well, thank you, brother. I always appreciate the kind words from you. And like we were talking earlier, one of the things that we have to recognize is that it's important for us to continue to put out what we are supposed to put out, to work the plan that we're a part of it, because all of us have our individual battles that we are generals of. So when you recognize that, okay, when it goes out, you're not responsible for how, the fertile soil that they plant the seed in. That's not our job. You know what I mean? And this is a consistent issue when we have our people still debating these type of things, when now we should be, like they say, going from the milk to the meat. And we a similar situation is affecting us now. Excuse me a little. Is that we have a tremendous opportunity now that the Creator has leveled the playing field. I was telling you how I was listening to this young brother, how frustrated he was by learning that, Black people spend $30 billion a year just on the area in which he is selling his products, but yet he cannot get Black people to buy any of his products, which are actually the same as the ones they're spending this ridiculous amount of money on. And so one of the other issues too is, and I hear you use this terminology, is that we think that other people's ice water is colder than ours. And we're going to talk today about the fundamental, what's at the root. And this is something that has been troubling me for a long, long time. And today we're going to get at the root of this because we have to talk about this. We cannot ignore this any longer as if this is not at the root of the problem with Black people now, instead of uniting with this tremendous opportunity that only comes along at certain times, and why we are not reading the celestial language correctly. Now we're falling right back. It's like going back through the cocoon to the caterpillar state, right? The divide and conquer that's being used against our people is so elementary that it defies the imagination that we, who have mapped out the stars, are now at the mercy of the same soulless people that have us in the condition that we're in. And so, as always, brother, we want to see the concept that went behind your banner for the show. That's
oh yes, let me put it up for you, brother.
Okay, yeah. And break it down for us before we go into the presentation.
Here we go. Well, going along with your title, from mapping out stars to worshiping soulless beings, in the name of religion, we're not speaking spirituality, but religion. We're religious in brushing our teeth. We're religious in washing ourselves, hopefully. We're religious in so many things. So when we say religion, it's almost to me like spiritual opinion. Because there's no animals that follow religion. They follow the spirituality. They know, they have the sense as part of the universe. The universe communicates to all of us. So we have people today that they're following soulless beings. We have AI creating images that make people think they're having a religious experience.
Yes.
We have things that are handed down to us that may not be all the way correct. There may be some truth in it, but then we have to think for ourselves and figure it out. But now it's to the point of soulless beings. Anybody can say the right word. You have a person who in the entertainment industry will deem as a celebrity, and we'll worship them and all the stuff that they're doing and stuff that they're doing that we don't know they're doing. We have people on the street. We have people charismatic that come into our lives, and they become our religion. You see what I mean? We may go to a house of worship, but that person who's blowing your mind every night, they might become your religion. Look at Dr. Umar Johnson, who speaks excellently. He has become in the past the religion of a lot of people, where he takes advantage of you and uses you for your adornments in your pocket and a place to stay. So we're worshiping all types of things because the universe is one thing. So I have it sitting up, and we have people worshiping this thing, and the candles and
I
up at
ask you something about the picture, brother. What you just said. Excuse me, cut you off, but I wanted to ask you this. So that being there, right?
Yeah.
Could that be for several different like cults, like you were saying, or
right?
Dominant.
There's so many different cults out there that people call religions that you're really not going to be able to represent countless thousands of them across the world. People are into things that you don't even know. There are people out here who are into things that you have no idea they're into. They can smile, they can be nice, they can do kind deeds, and they think they're on the right path. I'm not even saying they're evil, some are. But so many of us are misled. And like we were saying earlier, the things that have been put in the heads of Black people that we feel is so strong has us against each other.
Yeah.
So somebody is sucking from you when you're in a cult. and they're giving you rules, even when they don't say it's a cult, because there's no cult out there that says, "Hey, how you doing? I'm a cult. So this is what's going to happen." No, most of these things you don't know. You think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And these people have a way of discerning your spirit and seeing where you lack and where your holes are, to know how to get in.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you're complete, yeah. See, when you're complete in what you know, even if you don't know everything. Look, I couldn't tell you what happens after we transition. But like I told my friend earlier, I said, listen, I'm going on what I know now. I know now that the earth in its natural form, not the man-made engineered form, in its natural form is in perfect balance. There's food out there for me in the backyard growing wild. There's the sun giving me the vitamins and nourishment that I need on top of everything else. There's elements that I can build a structure to build a home. Don't let the engineered world of chaos confuse you where you're looking for a way out of that. Get back to nature. So I know everything is going to be all right as long as I do nature right on this level. But we're away from that. So when you have a bowling ball, you can get a grip on that bowling ball because it has the 3 holes to put your fingers in.
Right.
If we're complete in our connection to nature, the creator, and the real universe, there are no holes for the evil ones and the ones who want to dominate your life to fit into, so they can't throw you where they want to throw you. You're at peace.
Hey, you know what I see too? So everything, when these entities are, when you're under their spell, it's usually in some type of enclosed building.
Always.
Or some kind of hall or some kind of facility
with no windows.
And they're under a trance. Yeah.
This is like Atlantic City, Las Vegas. You go to gamble, you don't see any clocks on the wall. You go to gamble, you don't see any windows in that space because they don't want you to know it's getting light. It's getting morning. You've been gambling all night. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. They don't want you to see that. They want you closed off. They want you closed off from your family, or these cults. They want you closed off from your friends. And they can immediately tell when you are a live one, or you bring a friend in and you're in this thing, they can immediately tell. There have been churches that I've gone to when I was younger. I wasn't welcome there because they knew I knew the deal about a lot of things. And a lot of churches are cults. So people can get mad at me when I say this, but I'm gonna say something else on top of this.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when I would go to church, and usually with friends, I was raised in a household that had a strong Christian influence through my mother, but she wasn't dumb. She taught me the real deal about a lot of other things. And she knew about Christianity too. So don't you understand, when you go there, you see the stained glass window. You got the white Jesus back there. You can have a brown one too, same effect. And what does he have behind him in the stained glass? A halo, an aura.
Right.
And really, they tell us to worship the sun. Well, they say S-O-N. Right. But maybe we'd be better off for something that gives us more life, the S-U-N. We should lay out in that sun and get our downloads and spend time in nature. But they have the picture of Jesus Christ in front of the halo that really is the sun. He ain't the sun. He's blocking the sun.
Right.
You see what I mean? So he's replacing that for the other people. And then you looking at that when it's really the power of the sun behind them, the S-U-N.
Yeah. And that is a good point. Thank you for breaking that down, brother. That's a powerful picture. So I want to start out the show with, matter of fact, since we're talking about Caesar Borgia, can we start out with the picture of him?
Sure.
And again, brother, I want to greet you. I want to greet all the people in the chat room under the sound of my voice, wherever we are. And today's presentation is, as we've been talking about, from mapping out the stars to worshiping soulless beings. And today we're going to shed a lot of light on this, and we have to start with this picture, not to degrade anyone, but to deal in facts. This picture, I've done years of study and research on how images affect us at the subconscious level, but it hasn't been until recently that, studies have actually verified or have been able to verify things at the subconscious level when people are sleeping. And this image, I hope everybody's sitting down, is in the subconscious mind of over 92% of Black and brown people. Now, you can get angry at me or whatever, but today I didn't come here to pull any punches, okay? We are throwing away a serious opportunity to finally build something that we deserve. Instead of, I'm not saying we're crying about reparations, because that's stolen. Our ancestors, they built that 250 years. So that's a whole nother topic. I'm saying that we have now reached a point where we know that certain images throughout history have been used to subdue our people. Okay, and Lance, I believe you were saying in your description of the show today that they came in with the cannons and the missionaries. And when you think about it, it's actually, like a 1-2 punch, right? And that if one punch don't hurt you, the other one surely gonna hurt you. Or sometimes it's a fake to make you, and then the real one coming at you. So let's just start out admitting something to ourselves, that this image and the ideology that it has presented to the world is at the foundation of how Black folks behave, or whatever, however you want to describe it. Okay, brother, I just wanted to get that picture out there first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
But I wanna start out by describing the difference between a soulless being and a being with a soul, or a human being, right? So one of the a couple of things that happen throughout history that has us in the condition we're in, besides that image there, is the fact that we have just totally walked away from who we are. That has really hurt us more than anything else, because when we don't embrace the natural cycles of the celestial language, then we are actually fooling ourselves about who we are and how we, and I'm going to explain that to you in explaining the difference between how we went from mapping out the stars. So Lance, if you put that picture of that star of Sirius B up there for me, I just want to explain something real quick, because, yeah, thank you. This is, when we're talking about mapping out the stars, we're talking about a tribe from West Africa, from Mali, called the Dogon, who were the first people to identify this very important star. They called the dog star, or they called it Subdet. One of the most important, if not the most important star in our universe. They saw this with the unaided eye. You can go Google this. They've done many documentaries. And so at first they thought that they were just, you know, dancing around, and they was like, oh, look at those. They are the world's greatest scientists because their dances as they led up to the Siggy. They even knew that the star appeared every 60 years. They knew things about the blood, and I'm not going to go into that because that's a whole nother issue as well with the Nomo and what they learned from them. But the fact of the matter is, 300 years before Western scientists, who, the point I want to make with this is that they will take your truth and then take credit for it. So even though the Dogon saw this with the unaided eye, and there was a debate until this Western scientists lived amongst them for 30 years and documented. They were actually dancing out the movements of the star, right? So, so we know that the Dogon, 300 years before the person that they gave credit for this, they knew that the planets revolved around the sun as well, and they knew very well that the Earth is spherical and it's spinning on its own axis. Now, the Dogon knew all of this, but they gave an individual credit for the person, the American scientist who created the telescope, who actually, I think it was in 1875, identified this. And he himself said that, I remember the documentary on National Geographic, where again, one of my favorite actors, Leonard Nimoy, said that, you know, it's incredible that this either had to be, he was interviewing the guy, this other scientist, some type of major coincidence, which we know that can't be. Either they are aliens themselves, okay, you want to call the Dogons aliens, or by some accident, they came upon this information. So this individual could not even conceive in his mind, even though he knew the actual truth. And I'm saying this to show you the difference between the creator and the person you call God. He's looking at the celestial language of the creator and saying, oh no, that's wrong. This has to be the case. So just like when they do these alien movies or alien shows, I'm sorry, on the History Channel, where they want to give credit to the aliens, who are still black beings, for doing the things that we know our people did. So Sirius B, a star that I think is 8.6 light years from the Earth, cannot be seen with the unaided eye, yet our people identified all of the faculties involved with this great important star in our universe that the creator put there for a reason. You can go do some research on Sirius B or what have you. So once it was verified and couldn't be denied that centuries prior to this Western scientist who they gave credit for discovering Sirius B, knowing full well that the Dogon had already done this. They were aware of this. That's why they was looking for it. After they found out that the Dogon, that the scientists that lived amongst them, published his works. So you see, this is why it's important for you to identify. I don't care what you call yourself. That is not, and you're following these soulless people that have taught you to look at, you are children of the sun that mapped out the stars, the Orion's belt, all of these things. Okay, and like Dr. Amos Wilson always said, you know, when you don't know your history, and Malcolm always said this as well. I can think of many of our scholars who have said this, that, you know, you don't know who you are when you have a genetic memory bank more than anyone else. So I wanted to start out with that to make the point that you are not what your behavior is showing today. Okay. But the reason why you are told that is because of the image that we showed you in the beginning, that actually is saying that you're not this universe, this Sirius B, but you're under the control of this image. Okay, brother. I don't know how, you know, that's how it came to me. I don't know how many people got that, but this is very important. So we're going to talk about the difference between a soul and a soulless being, and why this is so important for you to actually get this, and then, you know, start moving in a positive direction with this. Okay, this is our warfare. A soulless, a person with a soul, which is defined as the unity of body and spirit, or the spirit mind. That's who you are. So fast forward centuries later, and now you're under the control of a soulless being. All right. So before we go into that, I want to use one more example so our people know who we are, brother. If you put Benjamin Banneker up there. So here is the modern day, the same spirit that the Dogon had was in our brother Benjamin Banneker, who was the primary surveyor. I know what they say in the history books about Andrew Ellicott. He was not. Okay. Benjamin Banneker had to stay up all night, interpret the stars, classify them so that the city of Washington, D.C. could be built on a prime meridian. And so without that, then Ellicott could not take his notes and then do the land surveillance. That is impossible without knowing the points of the stars. And this brother was the first to create a clock in America, a wooden clock that was accurate up to, it was very accurate. Okay, I forget how many seconds, but it was very accurate. Also, he was the first to create the farmer's almanac, which was very important for farmers back during that time in order to be able to stay in harmony with the plant harvest season. This was a brilliant brother. He's, in fact, I have him in the back of my children's book. I was just looking at him today. They don't want our children to know about him. And in order for you to have this kind of gift, you have to have a soul. Because, and we're going to talk about this today. Okay, thank you, brother. So a soulless person is a person or thing that lacks the very essence of life, a total void of wills and abandonment of spiritual values. Okay, so let's be clear about this, because a soulless person is someone, well, I'll explain the definitions I came up with. That'll explain it better. Okay, so I'm going to read this again. As opposed to the unity of the body and the spirit, which is the spirit, mind, and soul, the soulless person is the lack of the very essence of life, a total void of wills and abandonment of spiritual values. And we see this in our society today, cannot be denied. This is something that has become the norm now. So it's almost like something we sweep under the rug, almost like a child we want to hide in the closet. And we're going to talk about that as well and how we identify soulless people. There are also intelligent entities, like the one in Lance's banner, who do not possess any soul. They have a lack of emotion, compassion, or any moral depth. I don't care how much they smile in your face. They are intelligent entities who do not possess any soul, which means they have a lack of emotion, compassion, or any moral depth. The state of soullessness is a condition that occurs when a human soul, wow, this is deep, is forcibly removed from their body while they are still alive. And I was, deep into trying to actually get some type of revelation in nature about this statement right here, because this kind of baffled me, even though it was coming to me, that this is soullessness is also a condition. It's a condition that occurs when a human soul is forcibly removed from their body while they are still alive. And that kind of made me think about Black folks. I'm not trying to throw no shade at our people, okay? We're just having an open and honest discussion about this, that we now have to look these soulless entities dead in the face. And I know our people get mad at the messengers instead of the message. But the fact of the matter is, and there's a reason for this. So I went looking, and I found it in the biological makeup of, guess what? Our sacred triangle that these evil people corrupted. Okay, with the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the pineal gland. So I always wondered, before we get into characteristics of soulless people, I always wondered why they were saying that the pituitary gland was the dominant gland, when clearly the pineal gland and the hypothalamus gland are the two dominant glands in the body. And so I kind of deep dived over the years. I've been researching and looking at different things. And when you look at this, and we're going to see why when we go through the list, why this is so very important. The reason why they were saying that the pituitary gland was the most important is because it was the only one that they were connected to. Because come to find out, the hypothalamus gland is connected to the pineal gland, and what we know what the pineal gland is primarily responsible for, and that is the secretion of melatonin. And I was like, oh, so this to me defines what a soul is. And I want to go through the list of emotions that the hypothalamus. Now, the pituitary gland, which is a part of this triangle, but it is at the base of the hypothalamus in the brain. Okay, and that's very important. I'm going to tell you why in a second, why that's very important. So it's at the base of the hypothalamus, and it's connected to the hypothalamus. It's not connected to the pineal gland, so that means it's void. Its only function is for the body. It's void of the connection to melatonin. Yeah, and like I said, this is the gland that they're connected to. And so when I realized this, I was like, okay, this is what this means. So here's the list that a person with a soul is connected to with the hypothalamus that's connected to your pineal gland. It controls the body temperature, the heart rate, hunger, mood, sex drive, sleep, and thirst. But it also controls your emotions and nervous system. And the pineal gland directly affects the hypothalamus gland. So then there was my answer. And that's why I always say nature is our greatest teacher, and why we have to teach our children how to be properly educated. We can no longer be taught by the solar system because we see the results of the major tents everywhere. They're taking food out of babies' mouths, to locking babies up in cages. I saw this story the other day where these people had these kids. Three of them were, this one lady, she was the mother of three of the kids. And they were between the ages of 3 and 10. They had them chained in a basement. And they would take turns coming down there to essay the kids. And these 7 individuals, you know, to me, this is what a soulless person represents. Okay. And they finally busted them. And now they are saying it could be up to at least 12 more of these type of people. But these are the same people that taught our people to worship the same God that produced this. The characteristics of social people. First of all, fiat is their God. Okay. And their characteristics, they use rituals to pledge allegiance to these evil entities. And the one of the guys, a couple of guys that were involved in these events that go on in Hollywood, was talking about when they first became aware of these rituals, that, you know, it frightened them to the point where it was like, well, I'd rather keep my soul than, you know, have this fame or pseudo fame you're going to give me. Because what you don't know is that your real soul is going to be tormented day and night. Once you know, and everybody knows now, it's all over the internet, the types of things that they do. Okay, and that statement I made earlier, the state of soullessness, a condition that occurs when a human soul is forcibly removed from their body while they are still alive. Now that makes more sense. So they can forcibly remove your soul while you're still alive. Think about the repercussions of that. Okay, moving right along with the characteristics of the soulless people. Not only do they use the rituals to do this, they are void of any moral or ethical values. And we see, and I like to reference the laws of Mayat because they are some of the strongest laws that we see when we go up throughout antiquity, that deal with morals and ethics, and is a sort of template or a blueprint for how humans, this was corrupted into the 10 Commandments, but, you know, so be it. These still give us a sort of guidelines of people who actually have souls, what we're supposed to be doing and thinking and how we're supposed to be behaving. Not like you're this perfect individual, but that you have things that you strive for that are outside of the characteristics of soulless people. We also see abuses and trafficking of children worldwide. This major case that we see that's going on in the world, this is another characteristic of soulless people. And some of these people may have had their souls forcibly removed from them for whatever reason from their bodies while they're still alive. So they're hollow, they're more open for possession. And so we see the results of this. We see on an unprecedented scale, okay, the abuse and kidnapping of children under the age of 10. It'll blow your mind, and this is on a global scale. They are detached from any human traits such as empathy or sympathy. They're detached from that, and they have taught you, they have detached your hypothalamus from your pineal gland or your first eye, calcified it, and connected you with the pituitary gland. Thank you, Chris, because that's a good way of looking at it when you want to look in nature for the answer of that. Moving right along, some of the other characteristics of soulless people. And when you see these characteristics, don't try to act like they're not there, because we see the results of decades of pretending like, because these people are quoting scriptures to you, scripts to you, riding around in jets and bragging about the size of their mansions, you still believe that you serve the same God that they do.
Yes.
Okay, so please don't send any emails. I don't need to hear anything about. I'm very clear on the difference between the Creator's Creator and these soulless entities that you worship. I'm very clear on that.
Let me say something really quick.
Oh yes, sir.
You're describing those people who are narcissists. You're describing them to a T. And I will say that all narcissists are soulless people.
Yes, they are.
All narcissists are soulless people. They can feign emotion to manipulate you for their cause. They can emulate compassion and love. They can even do good deeds, and you're fooled. But deep down, they despise your goodness. They despise your ability to feel and be compassionate and give love. And eventually, when when you realize who they are, they're pretty much on their way to destroying your life or stealing your destiny to wear as a cloth to hide around other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're alive, when you have a full soul.
That word, Lance. You know what that reminds me of? I'm glad you used that word, destiny. That's a perfect description of one of the videos we did on destiny swapping, right?
Yeah. They know, but they cannot feel. They will never take any blame. They'll never really apologize. But they can't stand to be around you who have a soul. It irks them.
Yes, good.
It irks them. And you must be destroyed because they don't have it.
They don't.
And when you realize who they are, you may have been around them for years in a close inner circle, a relationship, a friendship. And when the way they do you in, you realize all along they were never really in your corner. They wanted to destroy you, and they despised you for the life and the love and the compassion and the vibration of being alive truly, because they are not. They are dead. They're a dead body walking around. We look at these vampires on the movies and these ghouls and Night of the Living Dead, but they're people in the daylight, on our jobs, in our home, in your church's house of worship, giving you good advice, even doing good things for you, but they're waiting for the proper opportunity to suck that out of you because they cannot stand it. I always use the analogy of the little girl waiting to jump in on double dutch, and they hold their position rock back and get the timing right to jump in between those two ropes. This is what they do in your life. They study you. They study you. They know you so well, but they have a mission. But if you're right with yourself and not blinded by that, this is why you have to stay connected to your creator in this universe, because everything in the universe is connected. And there are things that you'll see as far as signs are concerned from things that may seem to be unrelated. I'll tell you a quick one in under 30 seconds. There's an individual who out here in Ghana come around and help me with some things, and I would be around them or whatever have you. But it got to the point where, and they'd come around once a week.
Yeah.
About 6 of those weeks, every time I was around them, I would see snakes.
Oh my God.
I was walking up with this person up the street. Second to the last time.
Or in your mind?
No, real snakes. I mean, we have snakes up here, granted, but they don't want to be bothered with human beings.
Yeah.
These snakes, there was one trying to come through my window on the top floor of my house. That was a sign. Only when they're around.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm walking down the street. It was kind of dark. I looked down. There was one that had to be about 7 or 8 feet long, thick, just curled up. I would have stepped on pythons. We have cobras up here. You'll hardly see them.
So you don't use a flashlight?
Every time I said, listen, I'm not going to be around this person. I don't want, and I found some things out. And I'm like, that was a sign. The interconnectedness of the universe. You start to see signs and things happen. Don't brush it off.
See that snake trying to come through the window, open your eyes.
Exactly.
Boy.
Exactly.
You know what, too?
It's trapped in the screen.
There's something else too. You know who else give you signs like that? Flies.
Yeah.
They're so pesty, you know, they'll come and buzz in your ear or something. You'd be like, wow, come on, man.
You better open your eyes and look around you.
Exactly. Wow.
And you got to be deep enough to know when somebody's plotting and planning on you.
Yeah.
You know, all those things.
I agree with. I just got to the point a few years ago when I began to see insects in a different light too. They bring messages, like butterflies bring messages.
Yes.
Everything brings a message, even an ant.
Yes. Two pigeons came to the window in the back on the bottom floor where they usually don't go, under the carport, and they hung out by the window. And I'm sitting there on the table eating, and I'm like, why are they there? And so I put my hand on the window where they can see some movement and jump away and get scared. It was just right there. I'm like, and I felt so good about that.
Yeah.
But see, some people will go off the deep end looking for a sign and everything and lose their mind. You have to be grounded. You have to have that feeling.
Can't go
Some people lose their mind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if you're grounded, get your sunlight, get your meditation in, and you're still to hear that voice that may correct you of what to do and not to do that day. Last thing, I wake up, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm getting ready for the day. And just a still feeling inside will say, no, do this tomorrow. I've been in the house. For years. Every day that passed, my voice said, no, stay in. Say it again. I didn't hear you, brother.
No. You went out for about 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. But yeah, man, I listened to that voice. I've been in the house for 4 days.
No, I know.
I went outside of my yard.
What you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's two sides to yourself. So, like, you could be arguing with yourself about something. You know, it happens to me all the time, you know. But you know who do this a lot, though? Women do this a lot when they're dressing up. They may be arguing with each other, looking in the mirror, you know, no, I don't want to do that. Do I want to
Right.
And so, but men do it too, a lot. You know, do I want to wear this, or do I want to go here? Do I want to see this? So yeah, it's funny how that happens. But yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. These people, they are narcissistic in the sense that if it doesn't benefit them, then you have no use for them. And I know, and this whole way of thinking has derailed our people, because when you have a soul, there's this is why we go through a lot of mental health issues again, because you have a sun ideology or soul attachment operating in an ice ideology or a soulless ideology.
Right.
And so it creates this, this schism where Black folks are always trying to either identify with their standards and values, and then they want to shame you if you don't have those same standards and values.
You're right.
And then they judge your success on whether or not you have attained those standards. It's deep, brother.
But when you, and I'll make this the last one.
No,
in this life, I've learned that those types of people who are running their own race and want to fit the template of their standard, low or high, on you, they get very upset.
Yeah, they do.
Throw off on you. And I say, for example, not to throw off on anyone who is high up in academia or has degrees or in college.
But it is what it is.
Many who are not there for just the knowledge, who are there for the status.
Yes.
When you come around them and you're all right by being a high school person, you're working, you have a business or whatever, they try to make you feel stupid. Some of them, not all of them now, right? Yeah. And then you have the other ones now. You'll have a guy who's in the gym, in shape, doing the damn thing, and try to throw off on a guy who has a regular build, who has a more balanced life. See, and when they realize you don't play their game and you're not paying it any mind, they don't want to think that there's people out there that don't honor their hierarchy. Like, they don't want to hang around you now because you're too comfortable being a guy from high school. I don't want to hang around you now because you're too comfortable by normal body for your body. Or I don't want to hang around you because you're not coming to the church and falling down and believing what I believe in. They don't. That's why they stick to people in their world. And if you're not playing their game, you see what I mean? Yeah. The dude with the brand new car at the red light looking at everybody else might be pissed off at the dude who's happy to ride a bike.
But our young people are,
you know what I mean?
I'm not just going to put this on the young people. Some of our people are still the same way. But you know what? That's a good point that you made, Lance. And that reminds me of how our people won't even consider. So this guy, I'm sure you're totally familiar with this, Robert Kawasaki, years ago, wrote this book about the two dads. Was highly educated, had status, I think, in his school, maybe principal or higher, a dean or something. Mm-hmm. But, they were always, like, for lack of a better word, not broke, but just beyond broke.
Right.
Or, they had certain material things that people gave them status for. Mm-hmm. But then his friend's dad, who had a high school education, had several businesses and taught them how, if you're just, selling or working for a post office or throwing newspapers in people's yards, at least you're creating your own. And that should be at a higher status than that is a perfect example, because that's one of the spells that they use in religion to keep our people in that state. I really believe that. And also the bourgeoisie class that was created.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That is all the boulets. And that is also what has created. Oh, man, you don't open a can of worms, Lance, like you always do. So now you got.
Well, let me tell you, you have that boule and black bourgeoisie out here in Ghana of many of those who have come from America.
I know.
And brought that mess out here.
I know.
Yeah.
And you know, and the thing is it makes you go all the way back to you know, what's her name? Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was right. So was Malcolm. Okay. And it's amazing that hundreds of years, and Willie Lynch was right. He said this could last up to 1,000 years.
Yep.
And
Yep.
boy, let me tell you, it's gotten progressively worse to a point where you're sitting back like, okay, I'm a person that lives by hope every day. But do we have to look at hopelessness? Because if we don't look at it, and I'm saying it from the perspective of healing,
yeah,
that you cannot heal or solve any issue, and we all have issues in various stages, without first acknowledging that there is an issue. That is just impossible. Or like we find ourselves in a situation where we're going back to the same entities or people that created the conditions that we're in.
Indeed.
So it's like it's, you know, like the rabbit, not the rabbit, but the hamster.
Hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, in a sense, when you look back at this history of our people here, it really seems like there's some kind of strong delusion. That's a good way of looking at it. That we still have not cracked with all the wealth that, because Black people do have a sort of wealth that you have to look at, right? Or misguided wealth or misplaced wealth. However, we know that we have this. The things that we know about the whitewashing of history, that incredibly a lot of white people, like I said, we give them too much credit. A lot of them are just becoming aware of it because they did a thorough job with the lies in history, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know, history is also energy. And of course, we know you can't get rid of energy. And particularly nature's energy, which is blood, for us on the planet.
Yes.
It's crying out. If you look at the blood in the soil by a certain particular generations of people, it's unfathomable. You look back at the statement that Frederick Douglass said, and James Earl Jones says so eloquently, that the type of things that have been committed against Black people would shame a nation of savages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how you can't say it any better than that. These atrocities against Black folks, you can pick any continent you want to. That's why I don't know why our people are in this silly. Now, I'm gonna say so. I promised myself I wasn't gonna, because I don't get involved in childish stuff. Okay, I just don't.
Exactly.
But imagine if you knew that the people who you are that are responsible, these soulless people, for having you in the condition you're in, regards to what continent you on, yet you're still giving them trillions of dollars a year. You're still bowing down to their images. Okay. Now think about how crazy this is. You won't boycott them, but you will boycott somebody, brother. That image that's in the subconscious mind of Black and brown people is deep, deeper than we know. Okay. But now you'll boycott people that look like you to harm them when these soulless people are already harming you in all the ways that we're going to still discuss. We already talked about the fact that they have no sympathy, no empathy. They're void of any moral or ethical values while they are preaching scripts to you that they don't believe in. And they use rituals that if you don't bow down to, you're going to pay a heavy price. That's why those of us who we know we have already committed our lives to this. That's why I admire a brother like Lance so much. And, a few other brothers that I've been fortunate enough to connect with. You're going to pay a price, but you've already paid the price. And because they keep you from certain things, mainly surrounding fiat and materialism, you have power way beyond that. See, if you didn't focus on fiat so much, who's getting it and who's not, like they did our parents back in, grandparents back in Jim Crow, where they would deny them fiat. So they used the barter system and still built shit that you never built. But yet they couldn't read or write. So something has got to be wrong, for you to boycott people that look like you. But the people who have you in the condition that look like the image I gave you, yeah, you're crazy. You got to be crazy. You won't boycott. That's what you really need to boycott. To be honest with you, this is a lesson the Latinos had to learn. That's why I'm not mad at them. They had to learn this lesson. But that's a whole different story because our people don't know the real history about the census. They were classified as white, okay? We keep asking this question, where were they at, okay? When before, I think it's either 1850 or 1840, they burnt all the census papers for a reason. You can't find no census on black folks or brown people prior to 1850 or 40 for a reason. But the mestizos, they were half Spanish, European, and half Native American, who you know as Mexicans today. So you got to do real history. I know they've taught our people a whole lot of stuff. This is why the confusion even exists amongst them.
Yeah.
And why they don't see themselves as black, even though they are, is because they did a number on them with this caste system. We'll probably do a program on this, Lance, one day. It's very...
Sure.
It's 16 different categories alone, just based on skin color. If you look at India, South America, and in Mexico, the mulattoes, it's a whole lot of different class. They did a number. These soulless beings did a number on melanated people around the world. Because, it's deep when you go into that caste system that they use. And this is where the confusion comes in at, where, in their society, it's not that they chose to be a part of whiteness. That's something you do in America. In another country, you do that because that's what is taught to you. Well, a good example is people are not born into the clan. They're taught this. They're initiated into this, or neo-Nazism. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So a lot of the thing, unfortunately, they have to learn from the school of hard knocks. Now, black folks had to go through this, okay? The problem I have is the way it's being done and then locking up kids in cages. I got a problem with that. I don't care who don't like it. There's another way to do this. And, black folks should not be smiling and happy that this is happening, okay? Now, you don't have to get out in the streets, true, okay? But you need to know something. All you need to do is study the records of foster care in any state in the United States, the CPS, and you'll see that we are in no condition of left because they have a large portion of our children that they own. Okay? And then the vampires, are taking them. So we need to step back and focus on Black issues and see that we have an opportunity to do things. We get angry. I heard a Black dude the other day talking about the Arab community. These people, okay, so let me correct myself before I say this. They do owe something to the Black community. But once a person shows you that they're not going to do that, then why in the hell are you still doing it?
Exactly.
And then blaming them. Now, they have shown you. So one of the issues that we have, particularly in major cities, is that it used to be these mom and pop stores used to be owned by Black folks, right? But now they're owned first. It was the Asians, the Koreans, and then the Arabs, the Indians. All of these people came into our community and built their wealth on the Black community. This is a fact. Okay, like I said, I look at statistics and I read stuff and I go back. They plan your demise, but yet you want to boycott against the only people that can be our salvation is each other. Brother, we're in a serious situation, man. And the kids, man, they are 10 times worse than what we're at. But let's look at a few more characteristics. I hope this is not. I don't know. I don't care how it sounds.
But this is what's needed, brother.
Yeah.
You know,
really
we can't
coding with our people.
Right. We can't look at this dysfunction, brother, and act as though it's something normal and we look over it. Yeah. We can't bury our heads in the sand anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. That's exactly right. What are some of the other conditions? I mean, characteristics. Okay, so they inflict pain and suffering on humanity. Now, why would you do that? If you have taken all of the resources in the world, that's why nobody can ever, and again, you can believe in whatever religion you believe in. I believe in ants. Okay, how about that? Do not send me any scripts talking about what you're theorizing. Okay? I'm talking about what has been done to our people for over 500 years, counting, no longer than that when you count what the Arabs did to our people in Akibalon. God knows that's a whole different subject. But, you know, for you to sit here now and continue all this pain and suffering that these people are inflicting on us and declare some kind of boycott against each other, and these people are sitting, you go downtown San Francisco, they're drinking wine, liquor, beer. God knows what they're sniffing cocaine. God knows what else they're doing and laughing at you because they're getting all the money. And you here talking about some having a boycott against each other. This is crazy, man. I know people like Dr. Amos Wilson over in their grave, man. My dad, your dad, mothers, and our people fought very hard, man. And see, the thing that people don't realize is their fight was different. These people was killing them. They couldn't say certain things, raping our women, you know, and denying the children and burning down our towns and putting them underwater. Okay. But now you have a choice of what you can do with your money, and look what you're doing. You're boycotting you know, this is insanity. And it's not just the people here in America. It's the African people. I've seen. So I started taking a hard look at this. What's fueling this? We know what's fueling. And our Caribbean brothers and sisters are now involved. This is insane. And a lot of this comes out of the same industry, the entertainment world. They're producing nothing but this death and destruction attitude amongst our people when we're better than this. We're higher than this. So they inflict pain and suffering on humanity while at the same time teaching false religious deceptions about love. Also, they exhibit lewd behaviors with children. Oh, and animals. And when I was talking about those 7 kids that they had in the basements too, they had animals in there too. And they just arrested a woman in Florida that they got on videotape having sex with the family dog. Did you hear about that?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then got the baby in the house. Huh?
I've observed that in real life.
Yeah.
It was a family in my block where a young girl, her and her sister, in their basement taking turns. And an older lady next door to one of my old girlfriends, this was back around 81, 82. She loved her dog. And when we were down the side of the house, we peeked in that window. We heard the noises. It's real.
I know it's real. I've seen videos of like some farms. I saw this lady one time playing with goats. I was like, man, these people are sick, man.
That's not funny, but it's crazy, man. And they'll pass you by in Walmart and look at you in a racist way.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine? So, are you the one I saw with that goat? Since you talking about, you talking about black folks and trying to put us down and all this. Yeah, I think you look like that lady I saw with this goat on a video. Yeah, you look just like the one. In fact, you might be the one. Right. They also create mass homelessness and starvation. And they're not just satisfied with you living in a tent and starving and being homeless. They want to take away, they want to harass you. They want to tear down the little tents you have. They want to treat you like they used to do the peasants and serfs in Europe. I told you it's a feudalism system where the king declares war on the peasants for whatever reason and treat them like animals. But they create mass homelessness and starvation, and then they penalize the people for being homeless and starving.
Yep.
Going through trash cans. They use wars to steal, kill, and destroy human beings, like what we see going on in Gaza. And then at the same time, talking about you dropping food from airplanes. I saw this little kid, I don't know, the mother was saying it was, I don't even know how, maybe 3 years old, weighed like, it's 30 pounds, nothing but ribs. And you got these people sitting up at Ivy Towers right now with champagne. I see it right here. You can go right downtown. And then 10 minutes later, when you cross 13th Street on the Mission, you see a number of drug addicts and homeless people in tents all up and down the Mission. We're black and brown people. Well, it's white people there too. But overwhelmingly, you see our people. And then you go to the Embarcadero, 15 minutes away. It's like a whole different world. They just had the marathon here yesterday. People from all over the world. See, white people they're not boycotting each other. Man, I see people that I had never even seen. I couldn't even figure out. I was like, God damn, it's cold. It's cold here in the city by the Embarcadero. And they got on shorts and tank tops. And I'm looking like, okay, these people are not, they must be from Iceland or somewhere. This shit is not normal. So, but yet, if our people come here from somewhere else, brother, this is when we are the ones that map. I can't get over this contrast, mapped out the stars, celestial language that other people can't even begin to try to figure out. You don't know who you are?
Right.
What is this is insane. Anyway, let's look at a few more things about this soulless or these soulless beings. Mm-hmm. We know that they use war to steal, kill, and destroy human beings. They destabilize countries, and then they justify the destruction of Black civilizations. And then they are disconnected from the hypothalamus gland, and that is the proof in nature of who they are. They are disconnected from that. And so, just to kind of wrap this up, you look at this is what I was stating earlier about the Dogons and Benjamin Banneker. This individual, when they whitewash history, and they say who discovered Sirius B, the astronomer Alvin Graham Clark, July 4th, 1862. Now, mind you, 300 years before this, the Dogon had already discovered this without a telescope. So this individual, who they gave credit for it, they called him an astronomer as well, but he has a telescope. First observed the faint companion, which is now called Sirius B. And finally, I want to make this statement. All right. We're making a huge mistake right now because we're not recognizing celestial language or natural language. We're making a huge mistake as a people. Now, ever since the eclipse on Lance's birthday, the 24th, in 2024, 4/8/2024, when there was a circadian reset by the creative spirit, and they brought in this energy and gave you the desires of your heart, which was a king. And now, like, I gotta give them to the scripts. They did a wonderful job with interpreting, the different concepts that came out of our languages. The Medu Nechi. They did demotic as far as they got, which is why they could not decipher it totally, the spiritual aspect. That's a topic for another day. But we're making a big mistake. This vortex is open. We don't know how long it's going to be open before these people move to shut it. Right. We can consolidate right now. On one of the videos we did, we talked about the fact that that this birth pattern is now open, right? Mm-hmm. And that we're not seeing the signs. We're just not seeing the signs. And then you have a elementary playbook that's still being used against our people to divide and conquer. And Malcolm was right. That's all I'm gonna say. It's funny how when you go back. Oh, and I wanted to put that picture, please, of Marvin Gaye up there. Now, if you know, I notice a contrast. These are real prophets. You notice the picture of him and Caesar Borgia. They both have that because these people can imitate everything they say. Okay, I'm telling you right now, they're masters at that. Do you notice that they both are looking up in the sky like they're looking at something?
Yep.
I never seen that before. and yet they have debased our music to a point where our real prophets like Marvin, when he was talking about, we're talking about over 50 years ago, inner city blues make me want to holler. That's the real prophet right there. Because everything, if you go back and listen to what's going on, what's happening,
I know.
inner city blues, it is. It's like you're looking at a reel of 2025, and
it's like listening. Well, it's almost like going back, or it's almost like going to a restaurant. And they make a certain lemonade with a flavor that you like, and it's 10 times the sugar. In the current day, when you go back, you'll say, wait a second, how come this is not the same thing? But it's the same lemonade, but it's more sugar. It's the same issues we had with war and racism, homelessness, but it's even more intense now. So he was saying that.
Think of, would you just use that analogy about putting 10 sugars in the lemonade? You remember when Clint Eastwood, when I forget the name of that movie. It was a real popular movie where a great line came out of it. Make my day. He went to that coffee shop, and the guy asked him after he caught him, stopped the robbery. He said, "How did you know?" He said, "I've been coming in this same coffee shop for 10 years, and I don't use sugar. And all of a sudden, I got enough sugar and now in this coffee to knock out a horse. I know something is wrong." And see, these are the type of insights like what you have, brother, that it has to be, it's some type of strong, you think it's sorcery? I know it's some kind of sorcery. It's a delusion for sure.
Yeah, the movies took over, and we hear sorcery, and we think of some man with some wizard suit on, and
right,
shoes curled up at the end with a little star on the end of a stick, But this is real. It's manipulation, and it is real when you know what you're doing. Most people don't, but there are things out here that I've had a chance to peek in on, and I'm like, wait a second, but
and it's deliberate.
Yeah.
Now, we know it's deliberate. We can see it's deliberate. But okay, it's like you on a playground with 3 kids, 3 boys. One of them take your candy, and you mad at the other 2. Not the boy that took your candy, but you mad at the 2 boys that didn't have nothing to do with taking your candy.
Right.
That's what we're doing. First of all, why are we boycotting African businesses? I want to ask our brothers and sisters here in America. This is an opportunity. Do you not know that all other cultures of people, the Asians, the Indians, the Arabs, and the Latinos, they are connected with other businesses, not just around the world, but here in this country? And a lot of them are in our communities. Do you not know that? So why are we singling out? To me, that's an opportunity, like the young brother Traore, right? Ibrahim. There's no excuse for our people. We already showed the roadmap of what independence. And on top of that, we see how angry these people that want to try to kill them 100 times. What is wrong with our people? This is our chance to finally build something. It don't matter whether you like somebody because they talk different than you or have different food or stay what nobody can look down on nobody. All of us are in the same condition. This is insanity. We should not be boycotting African businesses in America, first of all. The same thing with the Kibalan. Our people should go there and have the people. Why are you not boycotting the Chinese in Jamaica? Or in, and you see how twisted this is, or in a Kibalan, or I hear the Lebanese are building in Africa. Is that true? I've heard you mention their names before.
Oh, right here in Ghana. Some live right down the road from me.
Why are we not boycotting the Indians that are there?
They're here too.
Yeah.
And the Turkish.
Why are we boycotting Americans in a Kibalan? What sense when we have the pipeline to change, to help this brother? See, this is what happens. One of the reasons why we have issues is, like, take a brother. I'm going to use you for example too, and when I use this. We know that our enemies are responsible for shadow banning and taking away your last channel, right? We know this.
Right.
Rather than rallying around you to say, okay, well, we're going to fight you back when you attack one of our own, we want to sit back and throw gasoline on it. You see what I'm saying? This is the difference. And then, now they can afford to do that with each other when they compete against each other like that, but no other group of people do that but them. And then when you have a brother that sticks his neck out against these soulless people that have tried to kill him 100 times because he wants to make his people independent, what is wrong with you? Why are we not, with his own people there, why the hell are they not rallying around him? We know why, the same tactics where they got the big weapons, they, threaten our people just like the Klan used to do and how the neo-Nazis are doing to us here in America. We know this, but our people fight back here. That's the difference. Now, I don't have the answers for this. I'm black and I'm looking at the situation saying something is wrong with this. Why are we boycotting these people getting ready to shut off all the pipelines? I talk about this in my book, Creative versus God. They're getting ready to shut off all of your pipeline. Do you not see this coming? When we have been warned about this? I think I heard a video where the minister was talking about this. These people getting ready to shut us down completely.
Yep.
Why do you not see this? What is, I'm confused. I'm confused. What the hell is going on? If anything, we need to boycott these people that are in our communities that don't invest anything in our communities. And let's start with the church. Our people are still giving billions of dollars to churches every year. What are we missing here? Just see that man on that right you're looking at? Go listen to some of his music. See, this is why I'm so big on our genetic memory bank. Because this is what they are attacking. We are the only people that they tell our young people, oh, don't listen to that old music. Don't listen to those old people then. Are you insane? That is what we need to be listening to because it's one of the weapons that we can use.
Right.
To help us. I'm disappointed with people, this is why they attack brothers that are over the age of 60. They want to lock us up and shut us out. shut us up. Yet this country and the majority of all European countries mainly are ran by elderly white males. So they took our blueprint, which was our elders running our communities and countries, and they told us, well, they're old, they don't know what they're talking about, they blah, blah, got you against them. Like Malcolm said on the farm, put every demographic against each other. One of the things I admire, and people get mad all they want, I don't care, about cultures here that I've seen in California. They got these 85, 90-year-old elders in their family. You see them out to dinner with them, walking around with them, you know, like, you know, Asian people that are 80, a lot of them look older than that. They out. Like, they are out. And they, you know where they go? All of them go to the same. That's why I say I worship ants. All of them, they have built some incredible things since I've been here. They have taken over San Bruno, the longest strip here in the valley. They've done this in less than 10 years. They have taken over the recycling business. And every morning, these 80 and 90-year-old people, well, they start at 4 o'clock in the morning in trash cans, getting recycling stuff. And then all of them are like bees. By the time you get up and you head out, you see about 200 of them standing at recycling bins.
Mm-hmm.
You won't hear them talking about boycotting their recycling business. Now you might say, well, they're all Asian. Yeah. Well, hey, guess what? You're all, I don't want to say the word I'm thinking. Okay. So, yeah, man, I'm upset over this foolishness, man. It take a lot to upset me, man, but this is crazy. The only people this is going to hurt is our people.
That's right.
What you all are doing right now is only going to hurt Black people, okay? Now, you might have this in your mind about this nigga this and that nigga that, but that's going to be your downfall. I already see it. And then I'm privy to be around people from other cultures, and I see how they move.
Yes.
They're not boycotting each other. All of them eating the same. I don't care what they show you. They're eating in Central American restaurants. They eat Mexican restaurants, because I know I go to them. Mm-hmm. They eat in South American restaurants. I don't care what these people telling you about on TV. They spend their money with them.
Right.
Asian people, they go to Thai restaurants. They go to Korea. Now they tend to like their own food naturally, but you still, I have a friend, Christine. She's Korean. She loves Filipino food. Whenever I see her, and, you know, she loves Filipino food.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stop this stuff about dividing us like these people like we had the goddamn Belgium conference when they divided up the Kibelon. That's how we acted.
Wow.
And I'm angry at some of these people who pose themselves as supposed to be teaching our people, okay, and now you're pushing this nonsense for these soulless people. Okay. And like I said, Lance, you know, I don't like getting involved in mess. But now we got to draw the line here, because this is going to affect not just you, it's going to affect our young people too. Yes. And what are they supposed to do? See, these vampires and these Luciferians and these soulless people who you take these rituals with, they're not gonna be now the white people who that they tricked. Of course, that was predictable. I could have predicted what was going to happen. If you got 100% of your workforce taken away from you, and you think black folks was going to go work on some goddamn farms? Are you insane? Unless they own the farms. I'm like, you really think this is what they thought. They thought black people was going to work on these farms in Nebraska and these other places in Texas, and I'm thinking to myself, these people have really gone nuts. This is, I guess, to them, this is what making America great again is. Man, before black folks do that, you'll see them on the corner with a cup in their hand, okay? There's no way in hell black folks are going to be on nobody's farm working for. Well, so in Texas, I heard that, and not to single Texas out, because this is this way in every major state in the country. But because I know a few people there, and you know they tell me things. I looked at and I saw their minimum wage is $7.25 yet.
Wow.
Yeah, the minimum wage in California is $20, I think. But you can't get a studio. This one guy was saying you can't even get a studio for $1,800 there. But yet the minimum wage is $7.25. So while our people are dealing with emotional stuff, we're not looking at what we need to be looking at now. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that and I know this from personal interactions with people from foreign countries, even people from Akibalan as well, from Haiti and Jamaica, I've had interactions with. The thing is they see America different than us, but it's not their fault. They see it the way that the same people that got you talking about you boycotting them, their businesses, and that image we showed in the beginning, who mimicked Marvin Gaye, looking up in the stars, that's 92% of your subconscious, have put you in. So I'm going to end there because I'm starting to rant with that and starting to get kind of really, I am frustrated over this because see, I can, and I know you see this, saw this a long time ago, brother. I can see this, man. And it's frustrating because I see a lot of them on a daily basis. I see the look in their eyes because there's something about them when they see me.
Yeah.
They know I'm different.
They know it's a download. That's right.
And the download, yeah. And they can feel. So interesting thing happened yesterday. I was at my spot, you know, doing my work. And these young white kids came in. They were sitting in there for a little while. So one of the young, I guess she was about maybe 14, 15, I don't know.
Yeah.
She came up to my table when she was leaving. She said, "I like your style." I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you for the compliment." And I thought to myself, I've never had a black kid to come up and compliment me like that.
See? Mm-hmm.
Never.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this is a reality that when you look at it, it hits you hard.
Really hard.
When our kids see us, they see us as adversaries. It's crazy. They see us as, how I know, because I've talked to these kids before that age. I know, coach them. Right. I know how they see Black men.
Yeah.
As adversaries. So it's an easy transition when you tell them that we're fighting against brothers and sisters from another continent. That's an easy transition for them.
Yeah.
So it just kind of perpetuates the same energy. But yeah, we're missing a huge opportunity here. And boy, like you said, they're winning.
Yeah.
They're winning because as hard as it is to swallow, they are winning. And they're using the same elementary playbook that they have used for centuries that had our people in this condition. It's kind of, kind of, you know, I'm the type of person, nothing like you, brother, can get me down.
Right.
But I needed to vent with the family today and talk with you guys, because out here, man, you can readily see it, man. They ain't holding no punches back.
No.
They got people bent over. And the problem is that it's still a adversarial mentality with our people. And when I look at other states, it's the same thing all the time. Our brothers attacking themselves, now our sisters.
Yep.
And they're bragging about giving somebody STD, and I'm thinking of my. And so I saw this venue where some of our sisters were performing with thousands of our people, like just of our young people there, and they know these words to these songs, but they don't know who Benjamin.
Oh yeah.
They don't know who Benjamin Banneker. Right. These are the things that I think about. Like, if you had as many of these people that were sitting there, and we had someone there teaching them about Benjamin Banneker, or teaching them even about, well, now you won't even want to say Frederick Douglass because of how that name has been connected with, our people have unfairly been hustled in certain areas. And it does make it hard for those of us that really want to do something. It makes it hard for our people. Now they got to do like they do, where they have to look into your background and say, let me tell you something. In every stage of your life, you have made mistakes that you're not proud of. Stop letting these people define your life like they do, like they use slavery to define the Black experience on the planet, which we know is verified that's over 300,000 years old. It could be at least 1 million. We know this. So, but yet they'll take 10 years out of your life and then act as if, So all you have to hit them with, I'm talking to Black men in particular now, is the fact that nature teaches us that you're going to have a cocoon experience when you move from your lower consciousness that somebody is responsible for holding you in.
Yes.
You transform and change. Now you're a butterfly.
Yeah.
Or you're supposed to be a butterfly, because you're right, Lance, there are two manifestations of it. And, even though our people mapped out the stars on one hand, the butterfly on that, the other butterfly is actually, worshiping soulless beings. So with that, my brother, I'll end the show today.
Thank you, brother, for taking the time to see these perspectives, which is all truth. It's all truth, brother. And that's what we need. But the thing is, like I said, we got to keep on swinging.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
we know
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
powers that be have all of this going on, but if you keep swinging and I keep swinging, all those who are serious about this keep swinging.
That's right.
We'll overcome them. Even when it doesn't look like that, we will.
Yeah.
That's what we were put here for.
Yeah.
That's right.
And final word, based on what you just said, our ancestors, they knew they wasn't going to live to see the liberation of their people, their descendants. But they were willing to give everything they had in order for us to be where we are today. And I remember a line, two lines I'll give from movies. One is when they said, when Jack Nicholson said, "You can't handle the truth." And then there's another movie where she said, well, how do you know that this is the truth? And the guy said, because you're looking at it.
Woo.
I'll never forget that. I'll never. So when you look at yourself, son, people, all you have to do is, how do you know that it's true that we can do the things that we talk about?
Right.
Because our ancestors who had everything taken away from them had no fiat, through the barter system, created the greatest systems that Black people in America have ever had. All right, my brother.
Amazing. Yes, brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Keep those belts, man. I see you swinging, though.
We're never going to stop.
Yes, sir. All right, brother.
Thank you
Peace
so much.
and love to you, brother.
Yes. Likewise.
Oh,
always, brother.
I gotta file that away. I gotta file that banner away somewhere.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother.
All right,
Good
you
talk.
too. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Okay. Peace. Thank you, everyone, for coming on in. I'm going to work on something right now before I go to bed. Maybe I'll have it up tonight. And it's always a pleasure. I got to keep on swinging. I'm finding out some news. Oh, man, I got to confirm this stuff. You know, we're turning into, not anybody here, but many of us are turning into, it's just like you have your white blood cells that are supposed to protect your body. But many of us are turning into the white blood cells going after each other. I don't understand it. It's really bad. I never thought that we'd be in this position, and the minds are being controlled through social media to turn people around who are actually ignorant as to what's going on. And you still have to fight it. But anyway, I'm going to see you soon, same day today, and I'm out. Much love.